Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to the Church of the Spirit Sunday morning service. It's always my pleasure to stand here before you. And this is, Father's Day has always been a hard day for me, and I own up to it. I own up to it that it's been hard for me to get sermons about Father's Day. It's hard for me for several reasons. It's hard for me to have, because of the community for which I live, and the community for which I'm raised, and the community which the history of the foundation of my people. It's a hard one. But it's still an important one for all of us. So I say Happy Father's Day to all of you. And I say that if we go back to this whole religion, this religion of spiritualism, this religion, which Andrew Jackson Davis, all this religion of modern spiritualism, if I go back to this religion, then I can say that the father of spiritualism is present today. Because the history of spiritualism is still present, and it's growing, and we have new people who are committing themselves to this religion. We have new people such as our assistant pastors who are, you just finished hearing, Elizabeth is one, and we have more out there that's in our classes that are committing themselves, which says that spiritualism is still alive. Some people say spiritualism is dead. The psychics are roaming the world and ruling the world. That's not true. Spiritualism is not dead. And the psychics are just taking their place as they would ages ago. And they were here ages ago. It was just not, they didn't just pop up today. They were here then. So we have a lot to be thankful for, because this church is one. Modern spiritualism. We be thankful. And then if we want to be very thankful, we will be thankful for Reverend Schoenfeld, who stood here at Reverend Joseph many years. Andres, could you turn these lights up for me? Burn my lights. And Reverend Joseph, for many years, they stood here at this pulpit. Much more, you think that my 30-some years has been a number of years, but they stood here, 60 years each? So that is a lot of years to be here. So, and they have been pushing spiritualism, so they are fathers of spiritualism within this community, fathers of spiritualism within this church, and fathers of spiritualism within this world as well, the United States. For they held big positions where they were over these, the churches, vice presidents, and they were, etc. And they hammered out those principles and looked at those principles over and over again to make sure that they kept up with the today. And we still have a board now. Our board is going through a transition, but that's because everything in the world changes and transition takes place. You see that little, what is that, a butterfly that changes to three times or something like that before it becomes, 2 times before it becomes a big butterfly? And then you see all those things happening. And you see spiritualism changes the same way. So spiritualism is changing, and it's becoming even greater. I may not see it, I may not be around, but many of you I'm looking at today, because we're getting younger and younger people, will be around. And if you're around here in this church, and if you can, most of you are so electronic driven, you can put your finger on that and say, push up the NSAC, National Spiritual Association of Churches. You can push it up, and then you'll see it says how it will tell you how spiritualism has grown, and you'll see how spiritualism has grown in that time. You'll see that. You'll see magnificent things I'm predicting that will happen with spiritualism. You'll see a decline and then you'll see a rise. And you'll see young people like yourselves taking over. Booming. It's to be a booming religion. And it's going to be just not a part where people talk, but a booming religion. Now I want to say to you this morning, some of you have fathers in here, and some of you are fathers. And I can point out, I know that Drace is a father. I know my baby, where did she go? She has two fathers, and she always says two fathers, and I think that's wonderful. We have all kinds of blends of fathers and people who are fathers in here, and who are in here and who has fathers. How many of you have fathers that are on this earth plane today? Oh, that's wonderful. Raise your hand high. You should be proud of those fathers, having a father. Even if they melted the pot. Forgive them and keep moving. So I talk about them because in my community, I remember when Barack Obama made a speech about fathers. He went to a church and made a speech about fathers. And I fell out with one of his person about that because I felt he shouldn't have said that about fathers, African American fathers. Even though African American fathers have trailed behind in their work for their children, and that's what a lot of things are happening with our children today in African American communities, because our fathers are absent from our homes. They're not there. But if I go back to the history of African American fathers never played a part in even in slavery part, because they was busy working and busy doing work, so they wasn't able to play a part. So they never really probably played a real big part in their children's lives. So that has gone on and it just roamed on to today. And so we see today a lot of that type of attitude stays with us. And so we have not learned how to take care of our families. African Americans have not. And then as some of our Hispanic families has come to the United States, some of them didn't know how to take care of families, but some of them really was big on families and controlling families. But then today, because they've gotten saturated with trying to feed their families and live with their families and live for their families and things of that such, they too have not kept a hand on their children. And then I look at white America and all the music and fathers working and everybody's working, so fathers have not there. Some fathers have not been able to keep a hold of their children. So what will our children be? What would they become? Our boys and girls, especially our boys who are supposed to control our homes and take care of our children and help our children be guided and offer discipline in the home. I don't know, and I can't fully say I know, but my friends used to tell me the most disciplined home for a child used to be a Hispanic home. I don't know if it still exists, and probably in some, but not in others. But you know, all over there's been some issues with controlling our children because of the influence of music and all of the social media, everything. You can see everything on the TV that you didn't even know about. You could Google everything on social media that you have never even heard about. And that TikTok. Oh my goodness, I'd like somebody said, did you see that on TikTok? I'm like, they do that on there? You know, and the little people at the little kids, they give them those little iPads. Now be quiet. In the restaurant, you sit with the iPads. Now be quiet and eat. And let me eat. And those kids go everywhere. Those little kids that I work with can take me, when I don't know how to use my iPhone and things, I call them. Help me. I don't know what's going on. So we have to change our behavior, not just one person, but all of us, men, women, and children. We have to change our behavior. And I look forward to the day when our behavior changes and we see a new day. But it does not mean that we can't say Happy Father's Day to the fathers that are living, because, you know, we can make a change in our lives like overnight. We can change who we are, what we're about overnight. We don't have to say that we're waiting for a year, 2 years to make a change. We don't have to say we're waiting for our fathers forever. We can love people into change. We can love people. If someone just know they're being loved, they sometimes change. Sometimes they just want love. And so I say to you this morning, if you got a father on this earth plane, no matter what kind of person, he can be the worst person in the world. Call him up. You don't have to see him. I'm not asking you to put yourself in harm's way. I'm asking you to say blessings to you. Just blessings to you. That's all you gotta say is blessing to you, and hope you have a wonderful day. And you can hang up the phone. You have done your part. You have shared, you have been a steward of this religion, a great steward of this religion. Now I'm gonna stop now, just in case someone wanna say something, you wanna give a shout out to your father, say something about your father. You know, I know that we have several people, so many people, their fathers are here, and there's Jimmy, he's back there, he lives with, he and Leo takes care of Leo's father, and they're with him every day. That's wonderful. And then there's, I know, but he takes care of his father and his mother. You know what I'm talking about. He's just gonna make me try to find a name in the universe. Is it Pete or something? Reuben. I knew it was somebody. So I was. He takes care of his father and mother. And there's over on this side. There's takes care of his father and mother. Right? You know what I'm looking at in the beard. Now don't make me try to get these names. No. Reuben. That's Reuben. Not so. You all make me call it John. That's why I was like, I knew that name didn't come out right with him. And he just looking at me like, oh, I'm just gonna look at you like you're crazy. And then there's my son back there, his father, he lives with his father and mother. Lives by his father and mother and take care of them. Women I know. He's not been church quite so long, so sometimes they pull it from him. Oh my goodness. You gotta come to church more often. Out of sight is out of mind. You know who I'm talking to. Well, he takes care of his father and his mother. So there is, who else here that's taking care of their parents? See, I know most, some things I know about you. You think I don't remember, and there's like, I lost your name with children. Yes, children. But anyway, it's so wonderful to have all of you out here. That we have such a variety of people having different experiences. And children, some have children, some people have parents. This is wonderful. And there's Iris back there, had her uncle, she takes care of him, and just like he's her father, because he has done things for her like her father. So, you know, in that family, those people sometimes bring you to the United States. They take care of you when you're here, and there's a close-knit family there. So that's, you see all of that. So anyone have to say anything before we move on today about their family? Okay. Well, I wish your families well, and I hope you ladies make that call today. Make that call. All right. Right. All right, so if some of you I know have told them because you live in the house with them. So we're getting ready to move on to our service, and I say Happy Father's Day again. Those of you yet to be fathers, and you can remember, those of you may not become fathers till I'm going into another world, and you say, well, Marrice said Happy Father's Day, and then I knock, I'm saying Happy Father's Day again.